Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef. In this episode of Cooking with Plant-Based Meats, the series, we are going to make a delicious plant-based beef taco. It's one you're going to be very familiar with. It's going to have all of your favorite toppings on it. The only difference is the plant-based beef crumble, which is absolutely delicious. Now again, I'm doing this series just to substitute some of the meat, the animal-based meat, out of my diet, because creating animal-based meat takes a lot more fossil fuels, creates a lot more globally warming greenhouse gases, so anything we can do to give the planet a break is worthwhile. And this is absolutely one of them. So I hope you'll try it. So come on, let's cook. And here are the ingredients for our plant-based beef taco. First of all, we have this plant-based ground beef. We're going to use about 1.5 cups of that. And you can add more if you want. It depends on how much beef you would normally have in your tacos. But there's a bunch of different brands that are making these beef crumbles. So, experiment with them. I really like this one. That's my choice. I'm not endorsing any companies. I mean, I would. Okay, I thought maybe my phone would ring. So that's a good one. And then the other things are very familiar. We're going to season that beef. You can use a pre-made taco seasoning pack if you want, but I'm going to use about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, eighth of a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/8 of a teaspoon of onion powder, and probably, I'd say about a tablespoon, maybe 2, depending on how it tastes when I'm in the middle of the recipe. But I would have 2 tablespoons of a chili powder on hand. And then for our toppings, we're going to have some shredded lettuce, probably about 2 cups of that. We'll have 1/2 cup of chopped onion. Now, we're also going to use 1/4 cup of minced onion when we are browning the burger. That'll just give it extra taste. And then we'll just slice up some tomatoes to put on our tacos too. We'll dice them. So I have this 1 tomato on hand. You can add sour cream to it. You can add cheese to it. That's totally up to you. Again, this is not vegan cooking, which I say more power to you. If you do that consistently, that's great. But what I'm trying to do is sub out the meats. So those are things that you would normally find on a taco, so that's what we're going to use. And then finally, we have some crunchy taco shells pre-made, or you can use a soft taco shell, basically a tortilla. I'm using flour tortillas, and you're just going to heat that up in a pan, and you can just wrap it around these ingredients, and you have yourself a meal. So let me show you how to put all this together. And the prep work for this dish is pretty simple. The first thing I want to do is mince the onion that I want to cook the plant-based beef with. So I'm just cutting the top of the onion in lines very closely together. This onion has starred in other programs. That's why it looks like it is partially worked over. It was in some great omelet and egg scrambles. So maybe those of you who binge watch the Step-by-Step Chef, you recognize this onion. You're like, I remember that onion. That was in the mushroom and plant-based sausage scramble video. And I remember it from the omelet one too. So, okay, so I cut this way. I have to be serious. Cut it this way close together and then this way close together, making little squares. And again, this is the minced onion we're going to use when we're browning the scramble, the beef scramble. And I want just enough to give it flavor. That's really why I'm doing this. And, okay, so I'm just going to put that in this bowl. And when we head over to the stove, which is shortly, we'll have this ready to go right in with the scramble as it browns with the beef. And what I recommend you do right at this point is if you're going to do those, make those crispy taco shells, start to preheat your oven, make your shells according to the directions on the box. So now I'm just going to pull this onion back a little bit, and we'll make our diced onion for the taco itself. And I want these squares just to be a little bit bigger, but I'm cutting down into the onion. So the lines are not as close as they were for the minced onion. So I went that way, and I'm going perpendicular to make these big squares. And as I always tell you, you can add or leave out any of these ingredients. It's totally up to you. And then I'm just going to cut down the face again. And there's the onion that we'll sprinkle. Oops, there we go. The onion that we'll sprinkle onto the tacos when they're ready. I'm just going to put all this stuff in one bowl and just kind of move it over to the side. This bowl was a little bigger than I thought. I have to talk to my prop manager, which is me, about that. We'll probably have to have an office meeting. And here's the lettuce. It's already rinsed off. And I'm just cutting it into these thin strips. So this is going to look very familiar to you. There's nothing weird about working with these plant-based meats. And then I'm just crossing it so we have little shreds, not huge pieces of lettuce that are going to all fall out when we take our first bite of the taco. And that's going to go in its own little department in the mega bowl. There we go. And then the tomato. Again, it was rinsed off. I'm just cutting down it. And I'm going to do the same thing with the tomato, dice it so that we don't have big pieces of tomato sticking out of the taco. I don't like it when I eat a sandwich or a taco or something and I bite down and everything falls out. You know, kind of defeats the purpose. I like the flavors to be nice and worked in. So we're just dicing up this tomato. And you can do as much of it as you like. And sometimes what I do is if I make too much of the taco toppers, I'll eat this as a salad. I'll take the rest of it, just put some salad dressing on it, and have a good old time. So there we go. I want a little bit more tomato. This is a really good tomato. Looks very beefsteaky, and it smells delicious. What a great aroma. Okay. And now I'll meet you over at the stove. Okay, so I have this pan preheated over medium heat. That's what it said on the package of plant-based ground beef that I have. And I'm just going to add this right into the pan. That's about a cup and a half. Then I'm going to add my onion to it. I'm going to get that all defrosted and browned up. Get that moving around. And you can see these larger clumps of the plant-based ground beef, and those will break up easily as they defrost. Just kind of keep this moving. You want to get the onion flavor into it. And next up we can add our seasonings. And what I recommend is add them gradually, and as this heats up, give it a taste, and then you can decide if you need to add more. So I'm adding just about a tablespoon of this chili powder. You may want to add less to start. And here's our onion powder. Just a little bit of that. Oops, it's kind of clumpy. Here we go. Okay, and if you have onion salt, it's going to add salt to the dish, so you will not have to add additional salt to this mix, most likely. Keep that in mind, because if you add a ton of salt to it and you've already used onion salt or garlic salt, you will end up with a very salty dish. So take it easy on that. There we go. And here is our salt, because I was not using garlic salt powder or onion salt powder. Okay, so now I just want to heat this up. Then I'll give it a little taste and decide if that's the consistency that I want. So you can see those larger clumps are just breaking up nicely. And I'm going to cook this for about 5 minutes. In the meantime, I am going to put my taco shells in the oven. I'm making the crispy version. If you want to make the soft flour tortilla version, just warm up a pan to at about a quarter heat and warm them. Don't crisp them so they're bendable. and then you can serve the taco contents in that. So I'll be right back. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. And here we are back 5 minutes later, and you can see this is browned up nicely. Now it's very dry and crumbly, and I like my taco meat a little bit on the moister side, so I'm just going to add a 1/4 cup of water to this. Just stir that in, and it will be more like the taco meat consistency that we're used to. So you can see now it's getting a little bit moister. Let me add a little bit more water. That's good. That's a good consistency. Yep, this is ready to come off the stove. And here is our taco shell all heated up with our beef mixture in it. And we'll just add a little cheese to the top of that. I like it when it's a little melty. So we're just going to build a taco the way you always do. And then we'll add some, a little bit of dollop of sour cream, optional. Oops, totally up to you. Add a little bit of this. Okay. And then we'll add our lettuce. There we go. Maybe a little bit more lettuce. Tomatoes. Yum. Some onion. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. And then what you can add is your favorite salsa. I also have recipes for salsa on stepbystepchef.com. So if you want to make fresh salsa, you can do that too. Or just the hot sauce of your choice. I like this Tapatio. I know that some of the taco shops also market their hot sauces commercially. So let's just say it. You might be able to find Taco Bell hot sauce in your grocery store. There we go. There's our hot sauce. Ooh, I do like it hot. Yum. Come on, let's eat. So congratulations, look at what you just made. You just made this delicious taco using plant-based beef crumble. It's absolutely delicious. If you find the right beef crumble, the right plant-based beef crumble to meet your taste, it will meet your expectations at the table. Now, if you like this recipe, please visit stepbystepchef.com. There you will find a printable recipe for this delicious taco and for over 225 other delicious meals, some of them plant-based, some of them with animal-based meats. So there's a wide range of delicious dishes that you will find there. You're also going to find a YouTube video link where I will show you how to make each and every one of them, you and me together, cooking. What's more fun than that? So I hope you will check it out. So again, I'm Larry Richardson. I am your step-by-step chef, and I'll see you in the next episode.